Hello and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Reacts. Today we're checking out from True Green 7 once again of creating microscopic Pokemon. Let's hop in and see just what tiny mons he can create for these Pokemon.
Hey guys, Ron here, and this is an idea I've had for years, but I didn't know how well it would be received, so I waited until my doubts were shrunk down to an atomic level. Now I finally have the confidence to make microscopic Pokemon. There are tons of animals in the real world that can't be seen with the naked eye, so why wouldn't there be microscopic Pokemon? I mean, we know microorganisms exist in Pokemon, like bacteria, and especially ones unique to the Pokemon world, like Pokerus, the virus that makes it easier for Pokemon to gain EVs. Obviously, Game Freak doesn't want to make characters in their video game that you can't see in battle, but I'm not Game Freak, so I'm going to make a few Pokemon that are based on progressively smaller animals and forms of matter. Let's pretend scientists have discovered a way to enlarge microscopic Pokemon so they can have a chance with normal Pokemon in battle. This could be a Generation 13 gimmick, I don't know. Let's begin. I'm going to start out by making a Pokemon based on tardigrades, also known as water bears. These micro-animals can be found in moss and pretty much any moist place, but are known to be able to survive extreme temperatures, pressures, radiation, and even outer space. They can basically dehydrate themselves to survive cold temperatures. So I'm going to make a tiny, cute tardigrade that is actually made up entirely of water and can control its makeup so it can deal with extreme temperatures. Now this is extremely similar to Overcast, the evolution of cast form I made, but admittedly this idea makes more sense for a tardigrade. A little astronaut water bear is exactly the type of concept fan artists have been making for years, because it's so intuitive.
Yes, they have.
I'm going to start by making a little six-legged dude with almost starter Pokemon-like proportions. So big head, tiny body. It's going to give it the puffy mouth of a tardigrade with closed eyes, which look like the slits water bears have on their faces. I added tiny ears to make it look like a bear, and began making the water droplet that acts as its astronaut helmet.
It's really
That helmet will also have two bubbles that will make it look like an actual water bear. Its front legs are puffy, like the white suit on an astronaut. Tardigrades have this thick cuticle shell on their back, so I added that to also make it look like it has the backpack astronaut suits have. Some claws, patterns, and a puffier bear tail. I mean, it's white and blue, why wouldn't it be? But the exact harmonious tones of blue are tougher to decide on than you think. Here is Durable, the resilient Pokemon, a water type. Its name is literally durable, but with an S to add the Latin word for bear, Ursa, inside of it. Durable is the smallest water type to have been discovered. They can be found in every Pokemon region and can survive any environment, even outer space. It is believed it can survive by changing its body's state of matter. Since Durable's body has the properties of water, it can freeze, melt, and evaporate at will. They are able to sleep for decades and wake up smiling. They have existed before most Pokemon and are believed to be distant ancestors of the mythical Overcast. They have survived ancient battles between powerful legendaries and cataclysmic wars between Pokemon and humans. Since they have no reason to fear, they are extremely friendly and optimistic. Scientists have been able to reverse engineer Pokeballs in order to enlarge Durable into the average size of Pokemon and analyze them in battle. They have been found to have the abilities Cloud 9, Damp, and the hidden ability Water Veil. I've been trying to make a legitimate water bear Pokemon for like 8 years now, so I'm glad I finally have an excuse. I don't know why I never thought of going the cute route. I'm a bit annoyed that I just so happened to make a similar concept in a recent video with the legendary evolution of Cast Form, but honestly, like I always say, I love making Pokemon that are related to completely different Pokemon. Now I'm going to do the obvious next step and make a bacteria Pokemon. These single-cell organisms are responsible for so much of the things that happen to all living beings. So I'm sure the bacteria of the Pokemon world are basically just tiny Pokemon that do various things that bacteria do. Keep in mind that while bacteria are single-celled organisms, they don't have a nucleus. They pretty much mostly contain DNA. And amoebas and protozoa are not bacteria. That's a common misconception, because when you see a bacteria in like all sorts of media, they look like this, but they're not this. So my fake mon will not look like this. But rather take inspiration from bacteria like E. coli. Pretty much a toxic swimmy guy with flagellum that help it move. So I'm gonna make a Pokemon that looks like a microscopic tadpole with a tail in the shape of a double helix DNA. This is easy. It's literally just a pill-shaped head with a tail. But now let's make it look less questionable by making its tail look like interconnected rings instead of literal DNA. I'm gonna give it a ring on its head like a fin so it looks more animal-like. Bacteria can have these hair-like strands. I'll add two to make it look like fins. An angry face makes it look more dangerous. I decided to take a more dynamic approach. Its long hands are like strands of DNA within the cell. It also makes it look more creepy,
like
and the end of its tail can also act as legs. This thing can walk and swim. I gave it this swirly pattern to imitate the look of see-through skin, giving you a glimpse of the coiled DNA inside it. This also allows me to color the DNA tail in a stereotypical way, like Deoxys. Check out Bacteria, the harmful Pokemon, a poison-type Pokemon. Bacteria is technically the most abundant Pokemon in existence. It is responsible for all sorts of ailments, but can be helpful in various situations. These Pokemon are thought to have been attached to ancient life forms like Arceus and Mew. They're incredibly stretchy and can swim relatively fast for their size. They have been discovered to be the cause of many historical events. Even the oxygen we breathe and the nitrogen that plants consume is believed to be a byproduct of bacteria. They're also responsible for the decomposition of life forms. They adapt quickly and have an intense drive to survive. They are the fastest Pokemon to reproduce. The weakness of one bacteria may fade out after a couple of generations. They are quick to learn, but mostly do things instinctively. The toxins they produce can destroy cells, causing serious damage in battle. They have the abilities Poison Touch, Poison Point, and the hidden ability Swift Swim. I was very satisfied with the inclusion of its DNA tail, which ended up also acting like legs when it's upright. I've never seen a Pokemon with a tail that can also act as feet. Just like Durstable, all it took was one letter to create this Pokemon's name.
We're back.
Now I want to make a Pokemon that is almost an evolved form of bacteria, a Pokemon based on viruses. I want to finally make a design for Pokerus. We'll base it on the design of bacteriophages, the viruses that infect bacteria with their DNA and turn them into virus-making factories.
I swear,
since
I haven't
viruses
seen this
aren't
video
living
before.
creatures and can't reproduce on their own. I'll take some elements like the protein spikes from the flu virus and other coronaviruses. I'll also base it on the alien invaders from Mars that use tripods in the book War of the Worlds. But also the coolest thing is that instead of infecting bacterias, this Pokemon will actually trap bacteria inside of it and force it to reproduce for it. It's the unfortunate fate of many bacteria. So I'm starting by rendering the legs of bacteria. It'll be coming out of the bottom of the head of Pokerus, and some tentacle-like legs that come out of the head of the bacteriophage part. I gave it some protein spikes, also known as coronas, the same face that bacteria has. Then I finally made the tentacles look more like the legs of a virus, but in the configuration of a tripod, so it looks like an alien. Just refined it and changed the proportions before adding in the details. I added these ears to make it look more like an alien, but it's gonna be removed later. Now originally, I just gave it a paler version of the colors that its pre-evolved form had, almost like it drained the nutrients from bacteria, but it was very unappealing. The final colors will be darker.
Okay, so this Pokerusmon is actually meant to be the evolved form of the Bacteriamon. Okay, that's actually interesting. A neat concept.
And corrupted instead. I completed the head and finally added the bacteria head that you can see inside of the head of the virus. Now listen to this. The bacteria living inside of a Pokemon can become infected themselves with Pokerus, the possessive Pokemon, a poison dark type. In the game, you'd only be able to use Pokerus as a Pokemon when your bacteria is infected with Pokerus, causing it to evolve into Pokerus. This is technically the rarest evolution in the franchise. Pokerus are actually smaller than bacteria, but lack the ability to reproduce on their own. They will attach themselves onto bacteria and grow in size, allowing them to fully consume bacteria as they overwrite their DNA, forcing
So to get a Pokerus, you have to get Pokerus on its pre-evolved form. So you need Pokerus to get Pokerus. I like that concept.
Bacteria to produce more Pokerus. A possessed bacteria can be found inside the hollow head of Pokerus. A Pokemon infected with Pokerus will gain double the effort values from battle as its body goes into overdrive fighting off the infection. Scientists were forbidden from enlarging Pokerus as it has no will and cannot be tamed. However, illegal experiments were inevitably performed enlarging Pokerus. This giant virus went on a rampage, but was able to be captured using a specially produced Pokeball adapted from the Beast Balls created by the Aether Foundation. These new Micro Beast Balls gave scientists control of Pokerus. They shrunk the bacteria within Pokerus, preventing it from reproducing. It has the hidden ability Download. I'm so happy I can finally put a face to the famous Pokerus. I hope you guys are fine with the juxtaposition of how bacteriophages actually work, with the bacteria being inside Pokerus instead of the virus's DNA being injected into the bacteria. It made for a great design with the possessed bacteria dangling from the bottom of Pokerus's body. It's crazy how a brutal Pokemon like this is responsible for a beneficial part of the game.
Yeah, it really
Now I
is.
want to make a Pokemon based on an atom, the smallest unit of ordinary matter. Everything's made of this stuff. There's at least like 60 on you right now. Oh, sorry, 6 octillion. There are too many atoms. So why not make a Pokemon that has all the properties of an atom? Not literally an atom, I'm not saying everything in the Pokemon world is made up of a tiny Pokemon, but just like how there are various Objectmon based on real-world objects, so too would there be a Pokemon based on the smallest object.
Alright.
What was that? Now, atoms are made up of a nucleus that includes a neutron and a proton, and are surrounded by electrons. When an atom or molecule is missing a proton or electron, it causes an electrical charge. These are called ions. That's what our Pokemon will be based on. A cute little nucleus with electron balls that zap around it. Now I'm designing this cute Pokemon based on a helium ion that is missing a proton. It takes an incredible amount of energy for an atom to be missing a proton instead of an electron, but that's the only way I can give it a cute proton head with 2 little neutron legs. It'll have hair made of electricity.
Cute.
This is just a kid that can become anything. Look at this lad. It's like the protagonist of an indie game, finally showcasing the balls of energy that it contains and adding the 2 electron hands that spin around it. But then I noticed that they look out of place, so I made the path of the electrons more jagged. They zip around the boy instead of revolving around it. After all, it's almost impossible to know where an electron is, so each second these electrons are at a different position. It's yellow, obviously, but it'll be a bit more orange to indicate that it's extremely hot. Check out Spryon, the energy Pokemon from Spry and Ion. An electric type and the smallest Pokemon to ever be discovered, but it has more energy than Pokemon a million times its size. It generates electricity with the hands that rotate around it. Its body is mostly hollow and can endure huge impacts, but once Spryon are actually defeated in battle, the remaining energy within them will explode. They're the most abundant Pokemon in the universe, as they live outside of our planet as well. They are a possible candidate for the first Pokemon in existence. They are incapable of possessing any ill will. Spryon are born with all of the energy they will need in their entire life. They don't eat or sleep, but are constantly active. Spryon are incredibly attracted to other Spryon. They attach themselves to others of their kind so that they can live life with a partner. It's believed that the innate desire for all living creatures to find companionship is derived from Spryon's actions. They have the abilities Sturdy, as a reference to how tough it is to split an atom, Aftermath, as a reference to how once an atom splits, it causes nuclear fission, and the hidden ability Galvanize, as a reference to the fact that ions are what cause electrical charges. Spryon is a literal representation of electricity. This may be the cutest Pokemon I've ever made. It's flawless. I'm glad I made an atom Pokemon that doesn't look like a literal atom. And if you're glad too, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't and want to see another part of this series. Make sure to check.
Alright folks, and that is where we're going to end off today's video. So, I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original creator and all they do, and I'll see all of you folks next time. Have a good one.